Hi, I'm Max. I'm the creator behind Eat the Rich Art. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns, and here is what I made last week. I was a busy boy last week. I've made so many things, so I'm gonna get cracking and try not to ramble too much because I was absolutely on it with my market prep last week. We've made so many items. A lot of them are repeats and a lot of them are the same colour repeats, but I'll show you them all anyway, because they all have their quirks. So to start with, I did finish the bag I was working on last week. I did frog it in the end because I worked out that I'd somehow got to like over 300 stitches in the round and it was only meant to be 140, I think. So yeah, I needed to frog it, otherwise it weren't going to look good, and it was going to take like all of this yarn that I had left to finish it. So that wasn't very economical. Yeah, so this is how it's turned out. I have made some tweaks to the pattern as usual, because the way it gets you to do the handles, there are only 4 rows in the pattern, and that ended up quite thin. And then you also had a really harsh join at the end of the strap here, where you could see where you were joining it back to the handle or to the top and then going back up again. So what I did once I'd finished was I just did a couple of rows completely around the entire top of the bag, over a strap, back again, and then over the other strap, just to smooth it off, which I think has turned out really nice. It's just smoothed out that join quite smoothly. So that is my mesh market bag. Pardon me just a second. Where did my water go? I'm not sure. There it is. Ooh, this is staying in the video because I don't want to edit today. I'll bump the volume up, but I'm not doing more than that. You're getting 2 rambly videos this week because I have such a busy week coming up that I just want to make uploading as smooth as possible. So yeah, that was the remnant from last week. That's finished. Then on Monday, what did I do on Monday? Demos. So my focus this week has been using up yarn as much as possible, because we're going to the Creative Craft Show this week as I'm filming this, because I'm filming this Monday morning. So I want to make sure there's as much room on my shelves as possible for new yarns. Obviously that's difficult because I've just done a huge order for all of my Pride yarns, but as best as possible I'm trying to clear up like the Parfait Chunky and the acrylic so that is out of the way, so I can fill those shelves with new things to try. I'm hoping to get a decent amount of Banat this time because I've loved using Banat this week. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. The purpose of that has been finishing yarn. So this week I made 1, 2, 3, and 4 demogorgons. So this has used up my Elisa Luto in the red, it has used up my Parfait Chunky in the black, and it has also nearly used up the tan. I've got like the tiniest little ball like this left. It's like 7 or 8 grams, so it wasn't enough to just say, yeah, I finished the ball, but I've finished the ball. That's like probably enough for an accent, and that's it. So we have 4 demogorgons. At the new price of 15, this has added £60 to my stock. And like I said, it's used up 3 different balls of yarn, which is very nice. So these are no longer on my shelves. Also, I know these are going to go like hotcakes at the weekend, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of them. I do now have the right yarn to make some grey ones as well, so I might. But I'm going to focus on finishing my list of things to prep because I had a lot of things that sold out at the book extravaganza that I think will go well this weekend. So focusing on variety rather than doing too much of making all of the same thing in different colours, but we're doing a bit of both, it's fine. So that was the Demogorgons. Then the next thing I made was the bats. So I went for a different tactic with prepping the bats. We have a range of colours instead. So this is Puffy Chunky and Blush. I used a lot of this week, as you will see. I'm just trying to use it up. I've got 2 balls of it, so that is a colour that's taking a lot of space up. I'm going to do the same this week with the cream, because that's another one I've got 2 balls of, so you'll see a lot of cream things in the coming week. But yeah, so we have 18mm eyes in these guys, because I'm also trying to use up my 18mm eyes. I've got a lot of them for some reason, and they're a really awkward size to have, so I'm going to try and get just plain black eyes from 10 to 14mm, and then from like 16, probably 20, up to like 30mm in colours. So I'm trying to use up the awkward ones in the middle. Anyway, that one in blush. I love the way it turns out in blush. I'll probably make a couple more while I use up the second ball. And then we have a little cream guy. He is the only one where the plastic nose was secure. So he has a plastic nose, the other 2 have embroidered. Yeah, used these really cute brown eyes on them. Those are 16mm. So it's good to know that I can use my 16mm up on the bats, because that's another size that I've just not been able to get rid of. But he looks really cute in the cream, so I'm hoping people like him. I do also have a bat pattern that I made over Christmas, and I purposefully sized it down for the commission that it was for. I'm really tempted with the amount of cream I've got left to make the big version, so we'll see how big it turns out and whether I think it'll sell or not, because it will be one of those really big ones that you don't really want hanging around for long, but we'll see. So that's him, and then the final one was in this gorgeous berry colour. I love this colour so much, and it's so soft. So if I end up doing another autumn premiere at some point, which I think I will, once I've used my Pride yarns up. I was tempted to buy my Pride yarns from Premiere, but it was like a £30 price difference between buying the Yarnsmiths and buying the Premiere yarns, so I went on the safer side and bought the cheaper yarns. But yeah, I do want some more of this colour when I do eventually get around to ordering again, because it's soft, it's gorgeous, I love it, it's the perfect purple. So this is him. That was 3 bats. That is the bat pattern by Joyfully Meraki. The Demogorgons are by Just a Mum Crocheting, and the bag was by Handmade by London, or Handmade in London, I think. Did I write it down? By Hand London. So then, the next thing I made that I made a lot of, everything after this is just one-offs. But the last thing I made a lot of was the Drift the Octopus by the Crochet Carpenter. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of him, all in the blue, because I've used this up now, so this is what I've got left of that. So he has gold eyes, this one has red eyes, this one has yellow eyes, this one also has yellow eyes, and then this one has pink eyes, and I threw him. Pink eyes. So again, I'm just trying to use up 12mm coloured eyes, because I prefer putting black, just plain black eyes on things. So when I have an opportunity to throw a coloured eye in, I do. The other one I've got a lot of, like really awkwardly, is 10mm coloured eyes. And a lot of the patterns I make that need 10mm eyes ask for plain. And they're not the ones that I can just colour in either, because they're the ones that have the colour on the back already. We'll get there. We will get there. That's the next thing that's on my list to restock, is eyes, but we'll see how the next market goes first. That's this weekend as well. So I'm doing the Creative Craft Show and then a market. honestly, cross your fingers for me next week, because I don't know how I'm going to survive. We'll find out. So yeah, that was the octopuses that used up that ball of Monopoly Twist. So if I see it again this weekend, I'll buy some more, but I'm hoping to try some different colours out. Then the next thing I made after that was I started my campaign to use up one ball of blush this week. So I made another inkling. I think I'm going to make another inkling in the blush, but with red, dark red embellishments. Accents, that's the word I was on about, because it's just such a cute colour that they turn out in, and I do again have a second ball of blush to use up, so I think that will be how I do that. I love giving them eyebrows. That's like a new thing that I've started doing. Eyelids, I mean. I have put it through testing with the eyelids, and I absolutely love the way it turns out. It's just so cute. So that's him. He has the same really pretty purple that I made the bat in on his wings and his toes and his claws and his horns. So this is him. It is really funny when you put that purple next to the pink, it looks so much more like mauve compared to when it's just on the bat. It looks more purple, but then you put it next to each other and it's definitely the same purple. Colour theory, man, it's wild. So that is another impling. I am going to start charging £24 for the implings because they are huge. So that's him. I forgot to mention as well, the bats are, I think I'm going to up them to £8 each because they are quite big. Then the octopi are £15 each, again like the demogorgons, and I think I'm going to charge 10 for the bag. I charge 10 for anything I've made in acrylic. It's just easier. Hang on a sec. Can I? No, I can't. I've got an alarm going off on my phone, but I can't stop it without pausing the video. I don't want to edit, but I'm gonna have to. See you in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Right, last three things then that I made. So that was Monday was demogorgons. No, Monday was finishing the bag off. What day are we on today? The 9th. Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Monday and Tuesday were finishing off the bag. Wednesday was the demogorgons. Thursday was the bats. Friday was the drift the octopuses. Saturday was the impling. Saturday was also this Spook the Spider by Moonaloo. I managed to, by sizing my hook all the way down as low as I could go, it did actually hold the eyes in this time, which is nice. So they are in. Why I decided when I first made this pattern to do it in a 3.5mm hook, I don't know, but that's how I got it to pass with eyes. So I sized all the way down to 3.5 for the head, and then I went back up to a hook that was more comfortable because it was killing my hands for the bum. And then I used that pretty purple again just to embroider the Black Widow markings on his bum because it looked too plain and I thought that would look cute, which it really does. So a little Black Widow for someone if they so wish in pink and purple, because my crochet's in its girly pop era apparently this week. So that was that one. So that was Saturday. Sunday then, my partner has been begging me since I did the purple dragon, the purple and green dragon, for a Spyro. So I decided to use the Tank the Tiny Dragon pattern by Not Magic to make him a Spyro. Again, I've adapted the pattern. I always do. I just wanted to make it look more like Spyro, so I did. I've missed off the ears. I didn't do their spikes either. I just made the body all the way through from the nose to the tail. For the last few rows of the tail, I did it in just yellow, and then I surface crocheted this point around it to make his pointy tail. I added in a yellow stripe down the belly because Spyro has a yellow belly. I changed the wings as I usually do because theirs are the flat panel where you double crochet across and then double crochet across but miss a few so that it's got the wavy end. It's a free Instagram pattern. I just don't like the way they look personally for me, so I did my normal rounded wings on him, and then instead of ears and the spikes that they'd put in, I gave him horns because Spyro doesn't have ears, and then 3 big spikes on his head. Is meant to have 4 big spikes, I just couldn't quite fit them in. And then I did a little surface crochet ridge across his back in the purple to make him look like Spyro. I also added in nostrils. They were in the pattern as an option, but I didn't follow the pattern, I just did my preferred way of doing nostrils. And then he has little bobble legs that are built into the pattern, so that's him. My partner said it looked a bit cheeky with the shape of him. I'll just hold him there, and if you know what I'm on about, then great, and if you don't want to know, it's fine. I think it's the way his neck is so small and then he's got like another bulb on the top, but yeah. So I made a Spyro. I did it this way instead of doing my big planet crochet dragon because I think that this was easier to adapt than the planet crochet one is. Just because of where the shaping falls on the planet crochet one, you can't always predict where the belly's going to be or where the belly's going to look best, because that depends on how you stuff it. So it was going to be hard to line up the stomach stripe. It was also going to be quite difficult to work out where to place the spikes and things like that. So yeah, I've just done him like this, and that is how he's turned out. And then the final thing I made on Sunday was another attempt to use up that blush. So I have used up 1 ball of blush this week, and I made a pink hippo because it's been a while since I've had the hippos on my table, and I thought he'd look really cute in pink, which he does. He's adorable. And I stuffed him nice and firmly so he's really big and fat. So hopefully someone loves him as much as I love him. This pattern is by Crochet. I love their patterns so much. They're the one who do the bird popper pattern that I use as well, so I should probably look at more of their patterns and make more of them because I like the way they write patterns. And that is the final thing I made this week. I think with the exception of the Demogorgons, all of these are free patterns. No, the octopus is also a paid pattern, but the bats, the hippo, the dragon, the impling, the spider, and the bag are all free patterns this week, which is very nice. I do prefer my free patterns, but some of the paid ones I've got are absolutely adorable, so I do make a lot of them. The drifts are pretty easy to batch make as well, because you go through and make all the heads, and then it's just surface crocheting the tentacles on after that. So like, say for example you want to be moving around the house like I do, or you're going somewhere, blah blah blah, as long as you've got the heads pre-made, you don't have to take anything except the yarn and a hook with you for the tentacles. So I just sat and made all of the heads in the morning before I started work, and then in meetings and then after work I crocheted the tentacles gradually and took it up to bed with me to finish off, which was nice. Same with the bats actually. If you're making them in the same colour, you can pre-make all of the wings and the ears and the attachments and then just go through and make the bodies when you're ready to. But yeah, lots of batch making. I'm hoping this week to have less batch making and more just making individual things, so we'll see how that goes. We'll hope that that's a more interesting video. So let me know in the comments which of these was your favourite. Let me know if you've made any of them, if you like making any of them, etc. I think the implings are definitely my favourite. I love the way they turn out. They're so cute. And they're one of the ones that I don't actually have to adapt at all, which is always nice. But yeah, so they're cool. I enjoyed them. like the video if you liked it. If you'd like to see how my market this weekend goes, that will be next Friday's video. If you'd like to see the kind of stuff I get at the craft show, that will be, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks time on Friday. So subscribe if you'd like to see those and hit the notification bell so YouTube lets you know when they're out. I make what I made this week video every Monday, and I do either a market vlog or a crochet challenge or a yarn haul, yarn review, multiple things on a Friday. So drop a bell if you would like to see those. They tend to release between 12 and 3 UK time, depending on whether I've got the video edited in time. What else do I have to say? Check out my Ko-fi store if you'd like any of these. They'll be up in the next few days because they're all pre-tested. The only thing that won't be is the Spyro, because he is for my partner. And that, I think, is everything I have to say. If you have the hype option, hype me. And have a nice day. Thank you for watching.